last night I caught Star Wars: The Force Awakens, and it was a good movie, with a few caveats, none too serious though. What was good about it was that it evoked the original trilogy, Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. And, and so you kind of didn't get any real sense of the other trilogy, you know, The Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and so on, which is a good thing because those weren't particularly good movies. And what makes them not so good is what makes I was about to say Attack of the Clones, which is what makes The Force Awakens so good. Namely, it's a very physical movie, in the sense of there has to be CGI, it goes without saying. Has to be green screen, it goes without saying. But there's also a lot of physical, actual props, be they structures, be they objects. So it looks real. It looks more lived in. It looks more real. I mean, I don't think I've seen any Star Wars film with so many actual fighter models in it. I mean, as far as I could tell, there's a full-size X-Wing fighter, there's a full-size Millennium Falcon, there's a full-size TIE fighter. Really unusual, the lengths they went to create this world, and it's appreciated because it looks so much realer and fuller than the most recent prequel movies. But that being said, there's some problems as well. J.J. Abrams, who's directed films like Super 8, the Star Trek reboot, and so on, he brings a kineticism, a very animated way of filming that didn't exist in the movies prior. And while the physicality is in some ways welcome, in other ways it's not, in that the camera, for a start, moves around constantly. And with battle scenes in particular, you can't really see what's happening too well. And I mean, there are not too many scenes that happens in. Then again, there aren't really that many battle scenes in the movie, frankly. And it's irritating. This camera's whipping about, there's explosions, people running. It's hard to keep track of events. The original trilogy never quite did that. They were never quite that kinetic, that frenetic, as if he were just really trying to please viewers. It's really odd, and it's not a welcome thing. Again, it doesn't happen a lot, but it's distracting. Another thing that's a little problematic also is that Adam Driver plays Kylo Ren, and when he wears the mask, he's remarkably effective. The voice, it's kind of like Bane from the last Batman film, but you can actually understand what he's saying, which is nice. But the problem is not when Kylo Ren wears the mask, it's when he takes it off. Adam Driver, who I'm not terribly familiar with, I've never seen Girls on HBO, for instance, he seems like a very good actor, but he comes off whiny. Not Hayden Christensen whiny from The Phantom Menace, but whiny nonetheless. And it's kind of surprising, if only because you would have thought the filmmakers would have learned, and the writers for that matter, would have learned from the movies like Attack of the Clones and The Phantom Menace how not to do an evil character. And it's admittedly not as bad, as I said, it's not as bad as Hayden Christensen's interpretation, but it's pretty bad. Little whiny, little irritating.